Hello. Hi. Good afternoon. Thank you everyone for joining. And sorry that we're about 5-6 minutes late. Hello. Hi everyone. Oh, I see a lot of people joining. I guess today's topic is actually a very interesting topic for everyone. Hi, my name is Roseline. And I'm glad to be here once again to talk to you people. We'll just wait for a couple of minutes to have maybe more people join, and then we'll talk. So today's topic is latest updates on payment of your tuition deposit for September 2022. Why we have chosen to talk about this topic is because we've been getting a lot of inquiries, a lot of questions about how to go about your payment, and then what are the things you need to do to ensure that you're able to have your money get to the school, secure your cars, and then start your visa processing. So at this point, a whole lot of people who are looking to study in the UK for this September and already have offers, they are at this stage where making payment is a bit dicey. So that's why I'm doing this live. So I want to talk about what you can do to ensure that your payment does not delay your CAS and also does not delay your visa, as well as for people who want to pay using the Form A, what you can do to ensure that you are right on track and that your money actually gets to the school eventually. So like I said, we'll just give it a couple of minutes for other people to join, and then we can begin. And then, so this is not going to be a very long live because the topic we're talking about is pretty straightforward. So in about 15 to 20 minutes, I'll be done, and then I'll open the floor for questions. Ideally, the questions should be relating to payments, but you're free to ask questions relating to cars and visas and all that. That is within my ability to answer, right? But this topic is going to be a short topic. So my apologies, my phone is ringing. I was supposed to put it on silent. Let me do that now. Okay, so I have done that. Let me put all my phones on silent so that we're not interrupted, yeah? Okay, so we have given, this is 10 minutes past 12, so we have given about 4 or 5 minutes for people to join. I'm going to start now. So if you already have an offer to the UK to study for September, then you should know that you should be gearing up to pay your deposit. Now, depending on your school, your deposit can range from 1,000 to like 5,000 to like 7,000, depending on what your school requires. Why is this very important? It is important to make your deposit payment because this is what will guarantee your CAS. Your CAS is your confirmation of acceptance of studies, and that's what you will need for your visa. Now, for various schools, there are various other things you need to do before they actually issue your CAS. But in most cases, the first thing that you need to do is to make your payment, right? But for a few schools, you might have to pass a pre-CAS interview, then make your payment. While other schools, you must make your payment before they now conduct a pre-CAS interview for you, and whether you pass or not, right? So it is very important. Now, for some schools, if your payment does not get to them, and Dominic is sending a request. Okay, Dominic, when I am done with this short presentation, I would accept your request to join and ask your question if you want to be live, right? So for some schools, if you do not make your payment and they don't get this payment, you will not be getting your CAS. You will not be moving on to the next stage. Why? Because initially, when you have initiated a Form A, I'm assuming everybody here understands what a Form A is, but for clarity's sake, a Form A is a procedure you can initiate in the bank to make payment to a foreign institution where you have been admitted into or where you are currently studying in. So if you want to make payment using the official bank rate you can actually do so to the school. And then the form you have to raise or you have to fill up to make this is called a Form A. Now, initially, with a Form A application that you have done, that has been initiated and has been billed to be deductions has been billed to be made, on that account to the school, schools would usually accept it that you have actually made payment or you've made attempt for payment. But because of the history with Nigerians where banks don't make payments on time, some people initiate this Form A and then deduct the money or remove the money from the account. So when the bank wants to make the deduction to the school, the money is no longer there. And meanwhile, they're already, in school or already studying. So the UK institutions have had several issues with Form A. So some schools, not all schools, some schools have decided that if they don't see your money, whether you're making use of Form A, whether you're making direct deposits, it doesn't matter how the money comes, but whatever it is you're supposed to pay, it has to hit the school account before they will move forward with your application, right? So what that means is that if you're at this stage right now and you want to secure your CAS and you are thinking of raising a Form A, if you're one of those people who are going to a school who will not accept just a confirmation that you have actually initiated such payment, then you might not be able to get your CAS, because aside the fact that they might not be sure that the money is actually there, Form A now takes a whole lot of time, right? It can run into 1 month, run into 2 months, and even longer. And right now you don't have time, right? You are supposed to be getting your CAS within this period and probably middle of next month, so you can initiate your visa processing. Why is this important? It's important because at this stage I'm talking to you, we don't even have a lot of dates that are close, right? So if you're making your visa application now, you don't even have dates for biometrics until probably ending of July. So if you're finishing your CAS procedures, what you need to do for CAS by ending of July, you probably not get a date till like ending of August, right? So if you're getting a date by ending of August, when will your visa come out? And visa might now take up to 5 weeks, according to what the UK VI just updated. And you don't know if tomorrow they'll come out and say it'll take 9 weeks, it'll take 10 weeks. And you have to resume as at the last date that has been given on your CAS, right? Unlike last year, when if you are not able to resume, you can actually start your lectures online. That allowance has not been established this year. So we don't know yet if some schools are going to enable people to be able to start lectures while they are still in their home countries before they come. But if there is no allowance like that by your school, you can actually miss out on your offer. And you would have already made payment and spent money. And then the school withdraws their offer. So you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to do that. So what you want to do in this case is, if you're among those people who are still thinking of making payment and this is paramount in getting your CAS, you might want to consider making a direct deposit to the school for your initial deposit fee. So let's use an example of maybe Birmingham City University that has a fee of about 16.3. That's minus any deductions that they might have given you depending on the grade. So let's say 16.3, and your deposit has to be 4,000. Now my advice to you is to make a direct deposit of 4,000 using a relative or a friend or anybody you have in the UK who can help you make that payment. Now this might be a little bit more expensive than what you would get in the bank, but it helps you to secure your place, and then it helps you to move forward with your application so you can get your CAS. Like I said, some schools will still accept Form A, but not all schools. I'm talking to people who you fall within the category of schools that will not accept a Form A confirmation that you have actually initiated payment. So if your school is demanding for 2,000, make a direct 2,000 deposit. If your school is asking for 4,000, 3,000, 5,000, whatever the case, make a direct deposit. Then what you can then do is, for most schools, you have to make a 50% deposit on enrollment. So if you're enrolled, if your enrollment is to take place in middle of September, you are supposed to have made up to 50% of your tuition fees on enrollment. So what you can do is then initiate a Form A, right, for the remainder of your fees. Do you get? Since Form A is taking 1 to 2 months, you have between, say, July to September to actually have that deduction take place. So you now have enough time to be able to do that. In most cases, you're even already, in the UK, and then your money drops. Now, another update is that you will not even, or you might, let me not say this because I don't work with the central bank here. We might not be able to initiate a Form A come January 2022. Now, there's a circular going around from schools and even from central bank that as from December 31st, you will not be able to use a Form A to pay your school fees. So what that means is that you would have to source your school fees from anywhere sourceable, but not from the government. Do you get? So it is important that you actually know this, because for people who are thinking that, if anything happens to my September admission, I'm going to go for January. If anything happens January again, it's maybe next year September or next year April if you're going for, April, May, right? You will still have to pay black market or whatever means, right? Because at this point, there's no option of you even using Form A. You have to pay the full tuition, right? Using whatever means or whatever source you can source for yourself. Nigerian government has decided that they will not be part and parcel of people's desire to want to school abroad, at least for this period, right? That's what we're hearing. So my advice basically would be, try as much as possible to ensure that you secure your offer, right, by making your deposit directly. Now, if you're making direct deposit, it takes probably less than 24 hours once your money reaches the person that is going to make this payment for you. When I say less than 24 hours, it can be as quick as 5 minutes. If the person gets the money, they go to the school website, use Flywire or whatever the school uses, and then they make the payment, and in 5-10 minutes you get a confirmation that your money has been received, right? And so you can now go on with other things you need to go on with, like presenting your bank statement if your school requires it, presenting your TB if your school requires it, or scheduling an interview, or filling your cash shield, depending on the school you're going to, right? So what did I just say? Try as much as possible to make sure that if you fall within the category of schools that require your money to have dropped in the school's account, do a direct deposit for your initial fee payment. If you're lucky to be going to a school that would accept your Form A initiation receipt, then go ahead and make the Form A. Between now and when your enrollment starts, keep your fingers crossed, right? And then keep praying that the money is actually deducted and then sent to the school. So like I said, you need to do this on time, just so that it doesn't affect your visa and it doesn't affect you actually being withdrawn from the school. So I want to now tell you, for people who want to actually initiate the Form A, what do you need to do? First of all, your BVN has to be correct. So your email address, the year, the name, or whatever it is that your BVN actually has, every information has to be correct, because this is the information you're going to need to actually go to the portal, because everything now is online. Nigeria has gone digital, right? So you have to actually have your BVN correct to be able to initiate create your account, and then for you to initiate a school fees request, right, for payment. So you go to the portal is tradesystem.gov or .ng, something like that, but it's trade monitoring system or trade monitor system or trade monitoring system, one of those. I will leave the link maybe in a separate post. We're going to post on our Instagram the website link that you're going to use, right? So you go there, put your BVN. If your BVN is correct, you're going to get your OTP in your account. Now, sorry, in your email address that you submitted when you were filling your BVN some years back. So once you do that, you'll be able to create an account, and then you'll be able to initiate a Form A. But if you have any problems, you are going to be informed, and you would have to go back to the bank that you registered your BVN. Now, if you can't remember the bank, walk into any bank, tell them you want to update your BVN. When you get it, they'll tell you, sorry, you didn't do it here. And they can tell you the exact bank that you did your BVN. So you need to go to that exact bank and then initiate an update. So if it's to update your email, your date of birth, maybe your name change, anything like that, update it. So take 24 to 48 hours. I'm talking about working days. So if you do it on a Friday, do not expect anything to happen during the weekend until the next working day, right? So if you know that you want to raise a Form A and your school accepts a Form A, quickly go to the website and see if you can register. If you cannot register, quickly go to the bank to update your BVN. That's what you need to do. So what are the things you're going to need to do the Form A? You need your international passport biodata page. You need if you're a returning student, so if you're someone who you're on undergraduate, or you want to make a balance of your tuition fee, you need your valid visa or residence or study permit. So those are for those who already have, after studying. Or if you're a new person, you need your letter of admission, right? You need your recent school bill. So your school will have to raise an invoice for the amounts that you want to pay. So you need your recent school bill. You need, if you're going for a postgraduate degree, you need to have your first degree certificate, right? Then you also need to have, you sign a form authorizing the bank to deduct your account. So the bank usually will give you this form to fill, or you can just write a formal letter of, authorizing the bank to deduct your account. It depends on the bank that you're using, right? Then if you're requesting, so if you're married, say maybe you're a married woman, right, and say your school certificate's name is different from your passport name, you need to have your marriage certificate and also your change of name affidavit. So you're going to have those two documents if your name has changed. Then if somebody is paying for you, so let's say you've already gone to school and somebody wants to make the balance of your school tuition, or your parents, one of your parents is wanting to pay for you, or your spouse wants to initiate the Form A for you, they need to have evidence of relationship, right? So if it's a parent, maybe birth certificate. If it's a spouse, maybe your marriage certificate. If it's a sibling, maybe both of your birth certificates showing that you have the same parents. You just need to show evidence that you are related to this person, right? So those are the documents you are going to need if you want to initiate a Form A. Okay, so I said I should come again about the tuition deposit. Okay, so I'll just go back and speak about it again. I don't think I have much to say really. I'll just open up for questions really soon, because this topic is very straightforward, right? So what I said about payment of tuition deposit. Now, for every school in the UK, you need to make a minimum tuition deposit. Now, depending on the school, it can range from 1,000 to like 7,000 or 8,000, right? Depending on if they say you need to make 50% or give you a particular figure. So some schools will say 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, whatever the case. You need to make that payment. Now, some people use a Form A to make that payment to school, which is quite all right. But unfortunately, of recent, schools would not give you your CAS, confirmation of acceptance of studies. They will not give you your CAS as required for visa, right? If they do not have a direct deposit, not direct deposit, basically, a reflection of the amount of money you have paid in their own accounts. Do you get? So a Form A takes time. A Form A takes before it used to take like 2 weeks, the money has gone, but now it's ranging from a week to now it's ranging from a month to 2 months. So if you are going to a school that requires the money to have dropped before they issue your CAS, you don't have 1 to 2 months to wait, because September is just around the corner, right? So I'm saying that for at least that minimum deposit, please do a direct payment to the school using someone in the UK, maybe a relative, maybe a friend, someone you trust, right? Or contact us. We can maybe give you some recommend some financial institutions that actually help people to make direct deposit payment, right? Or you can go to other financial institutions, or even go to your bank to say, okay, you want to make a direct deposit. The bank will charge you their own rate. Do you get? Because you're not using the central bank rate, right? So if you have made your direct deposit of your minimum tuition deposit, let's say you're going to maybe University of Hull now and it's 2,000. The remaining balance, if you need to make a 50% deposit on enrollment, you can then raise a Form A for it. So that in that case, between now and September, when you are supposed to have made that 50% deposit, the Form A can drop. Right? Rather, your deduction from the Form A initiation you did can drop in the school, so that you don't lose your admission. We've had people who Form A has made them to lose their admission, right? So we had someone who was already in the UK, and she unfortunately did this before she traveled. And as at the time she was enrolling, the bank had not deducted. And then the school withdrew her offer and automatically deferred her to the next session. So that was a January session. She was automatically deferred to September. So she had to come back to Nigeria. So you see, you need to give it a lot of time. Then I also have someone who same thing happened to, but fortunately for them, they had just received their visa when they got the decision that the school had automatically deferred them from January to September. They had not actually made the trip. And why was that? Because school had enrolled. As at January, you would have the option of actually, starting your courses online. So she had started her course online, right? And then waiting for the bank to make the deduction. Unfortunately, the school withdrew the offer, and it was the next day that the bank finally deducted. So she couldn't even go because she no longer had an offer. The offer had been switched to September. So if your money doesn't get in as at the deadline they give, it automatically you're not going to be able to go to school. And if you already have your visa and you're already in the UK and your money doesn't drop, and they remove your offer or they withdraw your offer and defer you, you have to come back to Nigeria. It means that your status in the UK is no longer legal. And except you want to start having immigration problems, you want to start hiding and running helter-skelter, you would need to come back to Nigeria and then apply when it is time for the next session. Do you get? So that is why this payment is very important. So it's important for your CAS. It's also important for the balance of your tuition. So if you say you're going to be paying the balance of your tuition through Form A, initiate it on time. That's what I'm saying. So if your balance of your Form A is, let's say 4,000, and you're raising Form A in the middle of August, and you're supposed to have made, and the deadline for you is like maybe 15th of September, you might not have enough time for the bank to make the deduction, especially as the rush has intensified. And for CBN to now say that they are no longer going to be giving as of 31st of December, it means that they might actually now even reduce the amount of people that they are even giving as of now. So you might have people who would make this application and they might never actually be deducted until they cancel it, and say they are no longer doing. So what I'm saying is, if you're really serious about going, then you should be considering making other arrangements for payment. It is not only through the Nigerian bank that you can pay. You can make payment using other means, to pay for your tuition fees, right? So I'm just going to look at my notes to see if there's anything I have left out. So I think that's basically it. I can start taking questions now. So I've told you about the implications. Implications are for CAS and also for if you have been to the school, for enrollment. So your 50% deposit for people who are going to schools that require 50%, your 50% deposit, you need to be very, very conscious of it. Make the initial payment through direct means. Then you can initiate a Form A if you're initiating it now, that you have at least 2 months between now and when you are going to be making that payment. So I'm going to be taking questions now, because really I'm just repeating myself. I've actually said all I wanted to say on this live. So I'm scrolling through to see what questions. Now if you have questions, please put them down, and I'm going to be attending to them between now and 1 o'clock. Okay, which other means can I use aside the Form A? Okay, so other means are maybe a direct deposit. It depends on your school. Some schools will have a button that you can use to make payment, but obviously you cannot use a Nigerian card to make payment, because we do not have that facility with our banks yet, except maybe you have a dollar or naira card, and that has been activated to be able to make such large payment. But in most cases, you want to send to someone in the UK, right? And then they will be able to help you make this payment directly. So whichever rates that they are using, if you have a family member, they can do it for you. If you don't have a family member, you can use a friend. Okay, please, ma, come again about the tuition deposit. I think I already answered this question. About the Form A, do you want me to read the documents you need? Okay, so if you want to do the Form A, you have to do it online. So what you need to do is go to the website. It's called Trade Monitor System. Let me open it so that I can be sure of the website, so that I can tell you. As if my internet is even. Okay, so it's called tradesystem.gov.ng. So that's the site, www.tradesystem.gov.ng. That's the site you go to, and then you can register. You have to register with your BVN. Now, if your BVN has any issues, right? If your BVN has any issues, then you want to go to the bank that you did your BVN when you were doing your registration. I think in 2014 or 2015 or 2013. I think 2016 or 17. I can't even remember the year we did BVN. You need to go to that bank, any of their branches, to make the correction. If not, you will not be able to sign into this portal. Now, if you don't remember the bank, for someone like me now, I had issues and I couldn't remember the bank, and I went to one bank, and after contacted them, they told me it wasn't there, and then they gave me the bank where I registered. So if you do not remember, they would give you the bank that you registered. So all you need to do is enter into any bank and find out where you did your registration. If you cannot remember the bank, it will take 24 to 48 hours for them to make an update, and then after it has been updated, you can then go on and register, and then start filling the form if you're ready to do the Form A. If you're not ready to do the Form A, just do it and leave it, and know that okay, you don't have problem with the trade system. Do you get? Then what documents would you need? So for you to raise a Form A, it's an application, right? The documents you're going to need to upload are for them to approve it, because once you raise it, you send it, and then they have to approve it. You choose a bank, and then they have to approve it. So you need your international passport, like I said. You need your valid visa. If you are a returning student, or maybe you want to make a balance of your tuition deposit, maybe you're already schooling, you need your valid visa or residence permit or study visa. Now you need a letter of admission. In your case, if you have a new offer, you need your letter of admission, right? Then you need to raise a school bill from the school. Then you also need to have your degree certificate. That's your first degree certificate if you're going for a postgraduate course. Then you need to have authorization for the bank to debit. So some banks will give you a form to sign, while other banks will say you should just write a formal letter telling them that you're authorizing them to debit. Then you also need your marriage certificate or your affidavit of change of name if you're married, and your certificate and international passports carry different names. So you need to show, okay, what happened to make that name change occur. So those are the documents you're going to need for you to be able to get approval for your Form A, right? So the advice is pay your initial deposit, secure your offer, get your cars, and then raise Form A for the balance of your tuition fees, because Form A will be ending by 31st of December, according to the information that we are getting now. So from come January 1st, you don't even have opportunity to do this. You still have to go and source money from elsewhere. Is it still 28 working days for printout statement of account? Yes, it's not 28 working days. No, 28 days. It is not specified if it's working days or if it's weekends, right? 28-day period. So what you want to do is count from 1 to 28 and print on the 29th day. So your statement has to be 28 days minimum, but usually we just tell people to do 30 days, give or take, right? So 1 month is fine, minimum 28 days. Okay, do we have any more questions? Do you have any more questions about making payment? Okay. All right. So you guys don't have 2023. Who said 2023? Oh, well, 2013. Was that when we did BVN? Okay. I can't even remember again. But I know it's been a very, very long time. Do we have questions? So I'm just going to give like, say 5 minutes to wait for questions. If we don't have questions, then I'll probably just end the live. So it's not too long. Okay, do we have questions? So I take it that all of you know how to make your payments. If that is the case, then I'm really, really happy for you guys. If there's any one of you who requires assistance with moving forward with your application, visa processing, whatever the case, you know that we're just a DM away, we're just a WhatsApp message away. What you need to do is go to our link in our bio and then send us a message. You can send to any of the visa any of the counselors, any of the numbers there, to send you directly to WhatsApp. Now if you want to speak directly to the visa department, if you have questions relating to visas, then you can send a message directly to visas. But if you have questions regarding your cars, your TB, admission and all that, you can send to any of the counselors that you find their number on our bio. Now if you want to DM us directly, you would also get to speak with one of us who would now direct you to the appropriate person who can attend to your question. So we're always available, and then we have phone numbers, and you can call so that you can get one-on-one assistance. At this stage, any delay is dangerous. If you are actually interested in schooling in the UK, this year 2022 has really been dicey because a lot of things have changed. A whole lot of things have changed. So for instance, let me just give you a small update or small expo. Initially in 2021 and beyond, you could use a bank statement, right, that complete the 28 minimum days as at the time of your biometrics. But now it is getting riskier to use it. Not like you might not be able to get away with it, but some people have been contacted to submit a bank statement that was 28 days as at the time they paid their visa fee. Do you get? So sometimes at that point your bank statement is just 13 days, 15 days, 14 days, so it's not 28 days. So there are always updates. Now a lot of people are stuck because you have to either send a backdated statement or an updated statement, either backdated or an updated one, which might be difficult for some people. So if you don't want to make unnecessary mistakes, these are updates that are always coming. And if you are not someone who is always within this space, learning about it, working with people who are having these issues and then helping to rectify it, you might not know what your problem will be when it comes to visa stage, and you don't want to go through all these problems and at the end of the day get denied. What's the point? We have people who have had history, successful visit visa applications or visit visa rejections, and then you're filling your study visa application, and then you're filling an information that was contrary to what you had given during your initial application. Now when there's any disparity in any of the information submitted, it's a problem. And we have someone who was recently banned for 10 years because she supplied an information that was contrary to what she had supplied initially. So like I said, it is very, very critical. You don't want to do all this, stress yourself, make payment, invest your time, energy and money, and then eventually get you wrong. So please and please, if you would not take, it will not take you 2 seconds to send us a DM and help us help you with the application, with your application process, right? So with that being said, please check the question box. Okay, let me check the question box. Okay, no, there's no question in the question box. Fancy bottles, thank you for that. There's no question in the question box. Can I pay for visa IHS fee before proof for fund matches? Exactly. In fact, I didn't see this question before I actually talked about it. Well, it's getting riskier. Some people have gotten away with it, fortunately, but a lot of people are not getting away with it. So you are supposed to, according to all the publications, if you even browse this thing online, if you go to your school website, if you go to Google, your proof of fund has to be at least 28 days as at the time you're making your visa application fee. And your visa application fee comes after your IHS, right? So, but as long as you're making your visa application fee, your bank statement should be 28 days. Do you get? So you don't want to risk it, since that is what it ideally it should be, right? Some people can get away with it, a lot of people are not getting away with it, at least for this September 2022. So please, that's an update. There are many more updates. Like I said, contact us, because all these things are case specific. What applies to you might not apply to another person. So it's not a like how they say this in English. See, one size fits all kind of thing. Everything is individualized. Are there any other questions? Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to now give this update, right? This is another little expo, not the expo per se, but this is something that I feel you should know by now. Now, there's really no time anymore. In a couple of days, today is 29, and I think tomorrow is the last day of June. So you only have July and August in between the time you're supposed to apply for your September start, except for people that have October start. You should be thinking of starting your proof of funds. Start counting your proof of funds if you haven't started. Why? Because you would need this for your visa application, and if you want to apply up to 5 weeks before your course start date, right? Since that is the length of time that a visa application might take, you no longer have up to 5 weeks if you are applying for your visa at the end of July or beginning of August. So if you're supposed to have a month statement and you're starting at the beginning of July, then it's at the end of July it is going to be complete, and you cannot, or we advise that you do not make your visa application and pay for your visa application before your bank statement is mature. So what you need to do is make the calculations. If you do not know how to make the calculations, especially if you're going to a school that does not require your bank statement for the issuance of cars, you need to know how to calculate your timeline, even if you're still waiting for cars. So you can contact us and we can help you, give you a tangible timeline when you are supposed to start your proof of funds account, when all the money you need is supposed to be in your account, and then you have to start counting for the 28-day period. You no longer have time. So you don't want it to be that you have your cash, have everything, but your proof of funds is what is holding you back. Okay, so for deadline for visa application, it depends on the start for your school. So some people have an early start in September. Some people are starting first week. Some people are starting last week. So if you're starting last week of September, count 5 weeks from the start of your course. That is when it will be too late. So anything beyond 5 weeks before your course is supposed to start, then it's already getting too late. Do you get? But if you have a later start date, let's say your course is starting on the 13th of September. I don't even know if 13th of September is a Monday. You're starting on 13th of September, and your latest start date is maybe 11th of October. You now have a small window. Do you get? You have a small window because that's the latest start date. But if your class does not have anything like latest start dates, then your window is the date that they have actually indicated on your class. Do you get? So 5 weeks from that date is already getting too late because your visa might take up to 5 weeks. We don't know whose visa application is going to take long. Some people are lucky to have it in 3 weeks. Some people are lucky to have it in 2 weeks. Some people are lucky to have it in 4 weeks. But some people's application takes 5 weeks. And you can't say, me, as I am like this, my application is going to take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It can take up to 5 weeks. So allow for 5 weeks because you can never be sure unless you have submitted and you have received. So 5 weeks before your course start date. So if you are early September, it will be late July, right? That will be the latest date for you. If you're late September, it should be maybe first, second, third week of August. So use that to count your deadline. All right, do we have any more questions? Do you have questions that we want to? So just a quick one. If you haven't done so already, please head over to IOM in Lagos or Abuja to book a date for your TB test because it's getting pretty late if you don't have your TB test ready, because you can have your cards, have your bank statement and everything, and your TB test is what is holding you down. So you don't want anything like that, right? Especially if you actually need your TB test to get your CAS, and a lot of schools are already sending CAS deadlines already. So if you're thinking that you were able to book online, it might be the most difficult thing for you to actually handle. You now have to actually physically walk into their office to make this booking. Now I would not know if people that are outside of Lagos would have to come down, and maybe I'll make that investigation. But as long as you're in Lagos or Abuja, please just go to their office and book, and I advise you go very early, so get there between 5 and 6 a.m. The earlier the better. Once you go there, you can book a date. I know someone who booked on Monday. On Monday was what date? 27th or 26th? She booked on Monday and she got a date for 22nd of July. Right? Let me see. So she booked on Monday, which was 27th, and she got a date for 22nd of July, which is almost a month away. You don't want to wait for that long, especially if that's the only document you're waiting for you to submit your visa application. So do well to book on time, right? So that's just an addition to this topic that we're talking about. I'm checking for questions if you guys have questions. Okay, so all right, So for lack of questions, I'm just going to go ahead and end this our live, because I don't want to keep rambling on and rambling on and rambling on. So I'm just going to end this our live. Thank you everybody for joining. It's always a pleasure to have you guys. Like I said, and I'm going to say it again, please reach out to us if you have any specific help or specific need that you want us to be able to help you with, and we'll be more than glad to help you. We do not like people having, disappointing stories. When there's help, do you get? Do not try it yourself if you know that we can actually, help you overcome whatever it is that you're dealing with. What do we need to book the test? Okay, so you just go with your international passport data page. That's what you need to book the test. So if you're booking for yourself or booking for your family, you cannot book for everybody at the same time. So one person can go with all your details, and then you can go there and book. How is it now to get appointment? Because my proof of funds will mature by ending of July. Like, when will my biometrics be? Oh, for visa appointments, for now, Ikeja is very far. Say Ikeja is already at the ending of July. VI is slightly closer, but you have to pay £55 to be able to go to VI. Now, but the good thing now, which I'm not saying you should bank on, is that you have the ability to do walk-in. Initially walk-in was scrapped. You cannot walk in if you don't have an appointment. So now people have been doing walk-in and they've been successful. But it is the most stressful thing ever. You need to get there by 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m. early in the morning, to secure a space, to have the chance to be able to do, walk-in. It is very, very stressful. And depending on where you're coming from, it might actually be dangerous living at such an hour. So you want to be sure that you are booking, on time, so that you can have a closer date. So if, for instance, someone like you, who your proof of funds will be maturing ending of July, right? Or you're making your application ending of July, you're most likely going to get a date like ending of August, with the way things are going, and it might even get worse, right? So if you're getting ending of August, what time do you even have to be able to get your visa out on time before your course start date? So for someone like you might have to be banking on walk-in, but walk-in is stressful, and if they see that the rush has become too much, they might scrap it. This was something that was scrapped up until recently, so it might actually be scrapped anytime soon as well. So don't take my words for it. It's just something that people have been able to do recently. I do not know if it's going to be able to go on for longer, right? And for walk-in is 42,000. So if you're going to do walk-in, you're paying 42,000 to be able to do that. Okay, any more questions? I think we have 5 minutes. We're supposed to actually end this by 1. So if there's anything that comes in between now and then, I would be glad to answer you. Okay, I can't see any question. Okay, so guys, nice to have you guys come on board. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Roseline, and you can get in touch with me through our DM or coming to our link in the bio and clicking on speak with the visa rep or speak with the visa counselor. So till next time, when you see my face here, have a great and wonderful day. For any of you who are going to be watching this later when we post and you have questions, do well to send us a DM or do well to send any of our counselors a message, and we would be glad to help you. So from me and from Nexi, I say have a nice day. Bye.